Hi, everyone. Today we're going to talk about artists who wrap things. And what do I mean by that? Well, I brought a slideshow to explain it. So, what do you think this is? It's something, and it's all wrapped in yarn and twine and string. This is a sculpture by an artist named Judith Scott who worked in Oakland. She had a developmental disability, and she worked at a place called Creative Growth where she made her artwork. Here's another sculpture that she wrapped. She liked to just wrap things. And she couldn't speak and she was deaf, so she couldn't tell us about why she did what she did or what her sculptures meant. But she worked on these for months at a time and she used all kinds of things in them. String, what can you see in there? I see a bicycle tire, a chair, string, a basket, all kinds of things. And she wound them all together. And when they were done, they were done. She pushed them away and didn't even look at them again. That was it. But she became very famous. These were exhibited all over the world. This is an artist, Kirsten Myers, who's alive now, and she works in New Orleans, Louisiana. What do you see here? She's got some sculptures here. It looks like some things she found, and then she's wrapped them up with other things that look important. It looks like she chose these things with a reason. And what can you see? Twine, feathers, maybe rubber bands. Hard to tell. I see a boxing glove on one over here. And she's really paid attention to the colors she's made them too. Here's another one by Kristen Myers. What has she wrapped up here? It looks like a toy, maybe a doll, and she's wrapped it up with fabric and ribbon. And she said that she likes how children's imagination, how they play, it makes their dolls almost, they're alive in the play. And she's wrapped them up and sort of captured their form and their basic sort of shape. And you can see that from the drawing that she's done here as well. But this is a very simple one compared to the ones that she did before. Here's something completely different. What have they wrapped here? It's an entire building. So this artist, his name is Christo, and he works with his wife and partner, Jean-Claude. And they wrap giant things. They do other things too, but they wrap buildings and bridges and all kinds of things. This is the Reichstag in Germany. It's the parliament government building. And they've completely wrapped it up. They decided to wrap this in the 1970s, and it took 20 years, 24 years to get the permission to wrap it. And then when they finally did, how long do you think it took to wrap? A day, a week, a year? It took 8 days to wrap it. And it's fabric, and I think it's blue rope, and that's it. And they left it wrapped for 14 days. I wonder if anyone worked in there during those days or if they kept it closed. You can really tell the shapes of the building much more when it's wrapped. You see some really basic shapes like triangles and squares, rectangles, a lot of lines. It simplifies it, kind of reveals the shapes of it, makes it into something else. Here, Christo and Jean Claude have wrapped some trees. Look at how they glow when the sun hits them. It makes them something different and takes something that you recognize and turns it into a totally different thing. And I think that's part of why they wrap things, to reveal something else about it. Here's something I saw just the other day here in Alameda. Somebody wrapped 5 or 6 telephone poles along Buena Vista. They wrapped them with whatever they could find at home. There's like decorative strings, there's pieces of sweaters and socks, there's yarn, all kinds of things. One pole was entirely sweaters. How do the telephone poles change when they're wrapped? They become something else. They become something that you go by and it cheers you up. It's something unexpected. It's something beautiful. So it's changed your everyday landscape. You go by and you're like, wow, look at that. So we've seen a bunch of artists who wrap things from dolls to telephone poles to whole buildings, everything. And now what we're going to do is wrap something ourselves. So I want you to look around where you are and find something that you want to wrap. It could be anything. It could be a toy, it could be a coffee mug, it could be a tree in your yard. And look around, see what you can wrap it with. There's all kinds of things. Torn up strips of newspaper, plastic bags, string, tape. You could take plastic bags from the store and cut them up. Socks, yarn, rubber bands, saran wrap, tinfoil, all kinds of things. Lots of ideas. Make sure that it's okay with your parents to take those things and use them for an art project before you do. You can also make something to wrap. Take some newspaper or a brown paper bag, crumple it up, make it into a shape you like, wrap it with tape to secure it, and then wrap it with whatever you find, some string, some fabric, pieces of more paper, pieces of ripped up magazines, whatever you want. You could pieces of things from outside, grass or reeds or things like that, anything you want. And once you're done with your sculpture, it's all wrapped nice, take a picture of it or draw a picture of it. Okay? So I can't wait to see what you make. Here in the studio, I've found this old pair of binoculars that my son had, and I think I'm going to wrap these because I really like the shape of them. And yeah, I just really like the shape of them. So I gathered a bunch of things. I have some plastic bags that I cut up into strips. I found a green feathered boa, some ribbon, lots of different things. I have some newspaper I can cut into strips, some yarn. So I'm going to start some socks. So I'm going to start by using, I think, this red sock. I'm just going to start wrapping. And tuck it in there so it doesn't come off. So, just like that. I have some old tissue paper that I found. Maybe I can rip it into strips. Twist it up a bit and go with that. Okay, so I'm pretty happy with my binoculars here. You can see I used a lot of different materials. Are they still binoculars? Can you see through them? You can still see through them, so they're still somewhat functional. But you can see the shape of them much more, and they've kind of become a different thing now. They're more of a object than a tool now. So there you have it. That's what I did. Let's see what you guys do.